Okay, welcome to Gnosis. I'm your host, Neenagh Seemone, and today I am joined by Aubz, aka True Aubz. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to speak to you today. So today we're going to talk a little bit about your journey to self-discovery. You're on your music journey and you've sort of transitioned your career.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a transitional stage for you. So I'd like to dig a little bit deeper. Obviously, I know a little bit about you already, but if you could just introduce yourself for the guests.
Okay, yeah. So my name's True Aubz. I'm an artist from Manchester. I'm 24 years old and I've got a lot to say.
I love that. We like a lot to say, don't we?
Yeah,
pronouns are she, her, as are mine.
Yeah.
And let's roll. So you reached out and said you wanted to have a chat on the show. Have you seen any of the other episodes?
I have. I've seen a good friend of mine, Lamin. I've seen him do his thing.
Okay.
I've seen Keems. And I just thought what you was doing was interesting.
It's a bit different, isn't it?
It's different from other podcasts. It's quite intellectual conversations, so I think that's my bag.
Yeah. That's the vibe I was going for, because I think it's entertainment but also kind of educational, and I think the main reason I started it is so that people who might be in a position we've been in and got through, it's all about equipping people with them tools
Definitely
to get through that stage themselves. And you see with Lamin's, his is more about historical education. I'm a bit of a historian at heart, and I think all of the stuff that's gone on before us has a lot to do with where we're at now.
Definitely.
And therefore where we can go if we really pay attention to what people did before us. So he talks about Len Johnson, and that's just one story of a lot of stories where we can really learn something from him and know that if we get together and get the community on board, things are going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love that. So talk to us about your journey in music. How long have you been doing music?
Okay, right. So I've been doing music since I was 14. I started in high school. I was quite the rebellious young person, and I needed an outlet. Obviously, I'm from the area of Moss Side, so I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations. I've come from that ghetto lifestyle. So it's just kind of like now where I'm at is crazy to look back, but music's definitely nurtured me and helped me.
A bit of a saviour.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's expression, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love the saying that the opposite of depression is not joy, it's expression, because you get to sort of express yourself in a unique way. And I didn't really go to a school that facilitated music and the arts. Mine was all statistics and language.
Right?
Yeah, it was all very la-di-da.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to do much of that. So I've always looked at kids who were going to the likes of Trinity or those surrounding schools and been like, that is so cool.
Yeah, different.
It's different. But I know at the same time, growing up in the hood, I grew up in Longsight, but I saw the hood life and then I saw this other life. So I've seen things from a different perspective.
And that's a beautiful privilege to have, to see both worlds.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
And it helps me take the lid off, because I think sometimes when you're raised in the hood, there's a limit on what you can achieve.
Most definitely a limit.
Stems from like that poverty mindset. You're growing up generally on a breadline, and to think that you can achieve something, it's like, well, no, we can't afford it. I'm talented, but talent doesn't pay the bills always, so
definitely,
there's that challenge in there.
Definitely a box what you grow up in, and you think that you can't surpass that box or break through them boundaries. When I was younger, I used to think I was just going to grow up and deal drugs, especially being, obviously now I'm a bit more into my feminine side since I've got long hair and things, but I used to have like a low haircut. I used to be one of the man them. So
in school?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So I just thought I was just going to be a trapper and fall into the trap.
How did you avoid that?
Well, I didn't avoid it. I went through it. I came out of it. I think what helped me was knowledge. And they say that knowledge is power. So I would love to tell people that's definitely a gem. Books helped me a lot, like growing my vocabulary, just like gaining peace of mind and just staying away from the chaos, because chaos exists. But, we have to find ways to stay away from it and find your own way.
So when you were saying about trials and tribulations growing up, where did the majority of those come from? Was it outside the home, inside the home, or a combination?
Massive combination. My mum, I love my mum dearly. She had me at 15 years old.
Wow.
Growing up with a teenage parent is, I know I'm not the only one. So But yeah, that's crazy. My mum wasn't ready to be a mother. We're good now. It's took a long time. I've been through a lot of stuff with my mum. That's difficult going through that, especially as a daughter, whether I'm masculine or I'm feminine. I'm my mum's little girl, so that was difficult.
Did you have many siblings?
Oh, it's just me.
Oh, you're an only child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my household, there was me and my brother. We were the one, like my dad is Jamaican.
Okay.
And he's got 5 baby mums.
Is it? Okay, right. So kind of typical.
Yeah, I guess so. And it's not, I'm not even throwing shade on it. I just think it's really interesting. It's a direction I'm going into now, okay? Yeah. How does culture, heritage affect how we procreate?
How does it breed that? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like relationships. Because I've noticed recently, like, people from, I guess, an African descent have totally different values, cultures and morals to what the Jamaican side do. And I'm really going down the route of exploring that because obviously I came from that Caribbean typical baby mother and this and that, you know what I mean?
Baby mother, go on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think every household, like most black households, you get the physical discipline, don't you?
Yeah, you get that.
So I think that's one of the only things that we have in common. You know what I mean? I used to get licks, you know. I thought I was quite a well-behaved child, but I was always getting in trouble for something. So as I've grown older, I've always thought if I step one foot out of line, there's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
And yeah, fair enough. When I was a kid, it helped me have manners, but I think those manners came from a place of fear.
Yes.
And as I've grown older, that fear hasn't really helped me because it's actually hindered me to take a risk and not to be perfect. You know what I mean?
I'm hearing that. Definitely.
I can relate.
Yeah, I can relate,
Yeah.
It's nice. It's comforting to kind of hear someone else feels that as well. So, yeah.
I talk about it often, and I don't think the generations before us at the time saw any harm in it. But if you look at them, their mental health, and then how it's kind of
and the boxes
keeping
that
going,
they've stayed in.
Right, exactly. So they can be like, well, there's nothing wrong with me. And then it's like, but is there, can you literally be yourself? Can you throw yourself into environments and take risks?
How free are you allowed to be?
That's it.
Or are you going to try and be?
Exactly. It's all about the belief system for me. And as an adult, I've had to relearn my belief system because I didn't feel like everything I'd downloaded as a child was useful in adulthood. So it's been a lot of backtracking for me. And like you say, the mother wound, I think is something that you really need to dig deep on before you can even understand who you are.
Yeah.
And I think we're blessed in the sense that our mums are here to be able to do that. I don't know about you.
I mean, me as a lesbian, like, that has been a whole nother journey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of your family life or social life?
I just mean, like, in terms of having kind of a mother wound and then loving women and having relationships with women and not even realising that I have that wound until things are going bad or you're codependent or like you just can't get comfortable or it keeps going wrong and you can't understand why you love this person so much but you can't maintain a relationship, and relationships have been really difficult for me.
So you think your mother wound has affected your relationships in a different way because you love women?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's sad. It's been tough.
It's been tough.
Yeah,
I'm the same though.
Tough.
In terms of relationships, I do struggle. It's letting people in and feeling safe to do that, whether it's a guy or a girl. I mean, I'm straight, but I've just become quite like protective of myself and my energy. And while I know that does me some favours because I'll filter out the bullshit, it's also like, are you blocking your blessings?
Are you blocking your blessings? It's a good question.
It's a borderline, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I have to ask it because I'm thinking, there's nothing wrong with this man on paper.
Yeah.
So why am I... But then my intuition, I'm thinking, okay, my intuition's there for a reason as well. So I'm trying to navigate, okay, which part of my intuition is coming from that outdated belief system that I no longer want to apply, and which of it's actually relevant towards helping me navigate a healthy relationship.
It's like a battle between the mind and the heart, and it's difficult.
So in terms of your relationships, would you say you're still working on that, or have you come to Like, have you had
No,
realizations that make it?
I'm definitely still working on that right now. And I think it's time for me to just like chill out and try and just stop playing the love field a little bit. I've got a big heart and I've been used and I've been abused. I can't say I haven't done wrong myself. I definitely have caused some people some dramas. But yeah, I think I'm just ready to just chill out. I'm 24, maybe put a cap on it until I'm 30 and see where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, don't need to put a time limit on it, but I think sometimes taking time out of relationships.
Yeah.
I've done it for 6 years. I've been single for 6 years. It's a long time. Yeah. I never thought I could be single that long. I'd never been single until I had my son.
Yeah.
And it really just brought me a lot of like self-worth and value and knowing actually I'm not going to tolerate that, and now if something makes me feel uncomfortable I have no issue saying so, and I'm just like, that doesn't sit well with me. And if you can't have that conversation, clearly this isn't the connection for me. So it is a good idea to take time out, and I think when you stop looking, things just present themselves. So yeah, you're very young, aren't you?
And then I'm dealing with the fact that, like you said before, obviously I'm Caribbean descent myself. I'm Jamaican heritage, so I've got the fancy eye because I have a lot of masculine energy. So, and you know, it's just like trying to move with that and just chill out and just know that like it's not necessary all the time.
Yeah, not always.
No.
So putting down the ladies.
Yeah.
What are you picking up?
More passion. I think for me now, moving forward, sorry that was so cheesy.
Nice, we like cheesy.
Yeah, I think moving forward for myself now, I just want to focus on music. I've got a lot of ideas, events, things. So I just really want to focus on being a creator and just enjoying my journey without having the interference of other people, because I've had a lot of, like I said, a lot of people come along, treat me wrong, use what I can give for them, and I'm starting to realise also the power I have, and I don't want to give it to the wrong people anymore.
Yeah, no, because you need that energy for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
It's valuable. And I always think about, imagine the amount of time when you're getting to know someone, you spend a lot of time figuring out, oh, what does that message mean? Or how does that space in between the replies, like, what does it mean? Are they doing? Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
It is,
and it's like, I don't really want to waste my energy like that. I've got things to do and I'd rather be doing them than thinking about if this person is as into me as I am into them kind of thing. So you're right, it's the best way sometimes. And I think just doing that for like 6 months to 12 months, see big changes.
Yeah. I've
only just embarked really on my creative journey. I've always been a corporate and doing real estate or business, whatever.
Well done.
Thank you. I feel comfortable here. I feel like, you know, when you just get a call in to do something, I wasn't sure where I'd go with the podcast. I knew I wanted to speak to people, get stories, but then there comes a time where it's like, oh, this costs some money.
Yeah, it does,
and then it's like, you will know with music, you're investing. And then it gets to the point, it's like, okay, how do I like be able to keep doing this? Okay, I have to monetize in some way. So for me, I've gone down the route now of like doing podcasts for organizations.
Okay.
Which,
I'll be honest, I can see you being like the next like Trisha or something.
Ooh, I was going for ZZ Mills, but I'll take it.
I think Trisha's like way more like...
Is she?
You remember Trisha?
Yeah.
Right.
Channel 5 she ended up on, didn't she?
That was like... Yeah, I could see you more in that bag.
I love that. Yeah. It's exciting. Thank you. I definitely feel like I'm unraveling that purpose. And I think when people reach out to me and they say like, I like what you're doing, I like to see what you're doing, it just makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's nice to be seen and heard. And I think that can be a lot of people's problem, not being seen and not being heard. And it's hurtful for anybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. You got to put yourself out there. Yeah. I think when I first started, I was getting a lot of engagement because it was a new thing. And then I noticed the more I post, the less engagement I would get. I'd be like, oh, I'd start getting like anxiety about posting and stuff. But I thought, no, let's just keep going. 1 post a day. Doesn't matter how many likes I get, I'm going to put something out at least once a day. And I've just got used to it now. It's like, I'm actually not doing it for the likes. I'm doing it for the truth.
Yeah.
So it's like, so long as I can step in my truth, I have to own that. And that's like basically where I'm at now.
I respect it.
Yeah, it goes both ways. So what have you got coming up? You said you're going to be doing some performances, and off the top of your head, do you know like what's your diary looking like?
Right now, my diary's like crazy at the moment. So after here, I'll be going to Beyond the Music, networking, seeing what I can do there. I'm kind of stepping into another bag other than just the artistry. I'm trying to see if I can do events.
Okay.
I just want to push myself. Like, I'm going around people who speak different from me, look different from me, and have never had a taste of my lifestyle. So I'm just trying to like put connections together, build bridges. And
how do you find that, like networking with people who come from a different background?
I mean, I'm fine with that. Like I'm from like Jamaican and Austrian descent, so for me, that's not an issue. For some people, it's a bit uncomfortable. It's different. You get like a couple of derogatory comments said, and you're like, that was like a weird backhanded comment. Did they just say that to me? But you just go with it anyway and just push past it.
Yeah, got to own it, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you talk about Beyond the Music quite a lot. Do you want to say a little bit about them? What do they do?
So actually, it's just like it's a lot of funders.
Okay.
It's a lot of important people, people that you don't see that are doing big things. And
so is it just a space where you go to? You don't like, do you book in? Do you just
so you've got to get a wristband.
So you get invited into it.
You get invited. There's performers. Like a lot of my friends are performing.
Okay.
They got Rakea B. Look at me doing shout outs.
Yeah, man. It's all right. Plugged out.
Yeah, definitely. So, there's a lot of talented people who are on the lineup. Unfortunately, I wasn't invited on the lineup this year, but
you're involved with the organisation, and
so
that's the first step, really, isn't it?
Definitely.
So the recognising artists. Where's the first? Have they done the first one?
Yeah,
or
it's at the Science and Industry Museum.
Okay, that's a new one. I've never seen performances done there.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I go to Reform Radio. Have you ever been there?
Okay, yeah.
That's where I.
Is that where you're at? Okay.
Got all my skills, and that's where my first podcast for business will be going from.
That's an amazing place to be, 100%.
Yeah. Have you been through there?
I have,
done anything?
In 2019, I was a part of a collective called Herchester.
Oh.
Which is an all-female collective. There was loads of us, and a lot of people fell off. And in the end, there was about 8 of us, but that was great.
Yeah. Who was there at the time? Was you with like Boa and that?
Boa, exactly. Yeah. Big old Boa, man, because Boa is a diamond.
Yeah, she is.
Love Boa.
Yeah, well, I ended up in Herchester for a short time.
This I didn't know.
Did you not know?
No,
I kept on the DL, bro.
As a spitter?
Yeah, a little bit.
You got bars.
I did. I like having a mic in front of me.
I need to dip into this. I need to go away now and check this out.
Yeah?
Defo.
Well, yeah, Herchester was a little thing. They've moved on now. I know Herchester still exists, but they're not doing the weekly things. Okay. But that's because Wanda's just, flying high, doing a lot.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see her on this seat soon. Talking about Herchester and the gang, but by the time I was there, it's like Chi-Bad. Do you know Anna? In fact, she goes by Flowers.
I know Chi-Bad though. Definitely, we've just done in March. We just did the Red Bull show together.
Oh, okay.
The Red
Is that
Bull.
Roberta on there as well?
No, that was a little snippet of something else.
Okay.
That was warming up for the night.
Right.
They got Roberto.
Okay.
What an amazing young man.
I know. Amazing.
No, that the show with Red Bull was Raise the Bar. That was 8 of us competing in a rap battle on some grime beats.
Oh yeah, and you had to do 3. Was it like 3 different ones?
Yeah.
Was Kid Blue on that, or was that another one?
No, that must have been another one. P1 actually was the winner of the show.
Right.
So big him up, man, because he shelled it down.
Really?
Yeah, he shelled it.
I love that. So exciting. I've always fancied myself as a bit of a rapper, but I tried it with Herchester, and then I just thought,
it's demanding, it's difficult, yeah, especially for us females. It is. It's a different.
I see myself going a bit more down the spoken word route.
Yeah.
On a beat.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the same, but I'm not trying to be a rapper.
You should check out Pull Up Bar.
Pull Up Bar, yeah. A lot of people have said this to me.
It's mint.
Yeah. And they do spoken word and poetry nights, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Have you performed there?
Yeah, pull up and speak and pull up and sing.
Pull up and sing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's on my list. It's on my radar. Okay. So, Aubz, we're going to go into relationships a little bit. I know you've touched on how your earlier experiences in life affected your love life.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, you date women, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how that looks in the world that you're in, how it's affected family life, growing up in school, etc., etc.
Right. So I was 12 years old when I first noticed that I like women.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget it. The girl in the year above me, I was year 8, she was year 9, and she pecked me on the lips, and I was like, what are you doing? But really, like, I went to my next lesson and it was on my mind and I couldn't get it off my mind. I could smell it on my clothes, on my blazer. And I was like, oh God, like, something's up here. I went home and literally I was thinking about it all day. I went home and I cried my eyes out because I knew, like, I like that girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a girl and I like that girl. Am I broken? Something's wrong with me. That's how it feels.
How did that come about then?
So then I kind of, realising then also I was never really into boys. So I just kind of went with the flow of that. I think I got my first girlfriend when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
Proper fancied her. Very different from me. Blue eyes, ginger hair. I think I've got a ginger hair fetish.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with me. But anyway, yeah, so I had that relationship. Got my first heartbreak when I was 16.
Mm.
At this point, I'm not out. My friends know. A couple of my friends know. Family do not know. Like, it's obvious because I've shaved my hair and I've got the lesbian swagger at this point. Mm-hmm. But I didn't come out until I was 18.
So 4 years of, like, being in the closet kind of thing. How was that?
A whirlwind.
Wow.
Kissing girls, like doing, like, just being excited, just doing, like, crazy stuff and hiding it.
Yeah.
And feeling like when I'm at home, I'm somebody else. And as soon as I step out and I get into, like, an open environment, it's like nurturing who I'm becoming.
Mm-hmm. So you get to unmask.
Definitely.
Outside the house.
Yeah. Like, I'm at home pretending I like boys and...
Really?
Yeah, it was awful.
Did you ever, like, make up any stories and be like, oh, this guy?
Yeah, I did actually.
Did you?
And, like, Drake and Joey Essex were, like, massive crushes that I didn't really have.
Really?
Yeah.
Posters in your room and that?
Yeah.
Love that.
Weird stuff.
So if you were going to choose a guy, it would be Joey Essex or Drake?
I don't even know what that's about. I actually don't, like...
So you've never been in a relationship with a guy?
I had a little boyfriend when I was, like, year 8.
Okay.
And I used to sit and I used to tell him about the girl in the year above. And he knew, and he used to question me. But you know what? He was a good friend. And now that I'm at this age and I'm at this point in my life, I realise actually what a good friend he was to sit and lend me his ear. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, big up Tane for that.
Yeah, man. I love that. Yeah. So... this is really interesting because a lot of people who are now a lesbian, they would be like, back in the day, they've definitely, like, dated guys and, like, dabbled, but you've just known from early, you went with it. And you said a couple of your friends knew, so was that school friends or?
School friends, yeah.
And they kept it, like...
It was on the DL. I mean, I'm sure my teachers knew, like, I'm sure a lot of the teachers knew. I was really going through it. I was absolutely, like, I was a terror at high school. I was literally, like... the bad girl of the year. That reputation still kind of
sits there.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think it was dealing with them emotions and being frustrated, being angry at myself, being angry at my family. Like, yeah, I really didn't like my mum at that point. No disrespect, because I know she's going to watch this.
Yeah, but you go through these stages. There'll be time where our parents don't like us either.
Yeah,
like you know,
it's like a form of kind of like resentment because why can't you see me for what I'm going through, and it hurts. And I do kind of feel for anyone who is experiencing that right now. And
what would you say? What would you say to them?
I'd say that the best thing that you can do, as scary as it is just be who you are, because you'll find your freedom and people will adjust to who you are. And if they don't, forget about them. They're not meant to be there. But 9 times out of 10, you'll be surprised that people will adjust.
And receive you for what you are.
Yeah. And just like, love is love, and it's an amazing thing. I'm not one of them people who's like, be gay, be a lesbian. I'm not spreading that. But if you love
if that's
someone,
what you
love
know
them.
to be you, then be that and
definitely.
be you. Yeah, I had a guest on called Yandis.
Yeah,
Do you know
I see him, yeah.
Yandis? And yeah, she spoke about sort of coming out in an African family, but being outed before she was ready.
You need to watch the full thing, definitely then.
We go into that chat in around 25 minutes. It's around 25 minutes, but she talks about being outed because she kissed someone from school as well, and then word got out, and then people was like talking about her.
Yeah, it's
but what
scary.
she found is that actually allowed her to step into herself, because the worst had already happened now.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? All the truth.
Yeah.
Because the other option is sitting in a lie, feeling uncomfortable, and being frustrated with the world around you for not understanding something that you're not sharing.
Yeah.
I guess the worst case scenario was coming out with it and dealing with the consequences, getting it out of the way, which I see how her being put in that situation kind of did help her, because she said, I got to go out, dress how I want, and people just saw me in a new way and I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, she's mint.
And you lose all those inhibitions. And I think that's a powerful thing when you're young, but you still sit in yourself and don't hide it. So when you came out at 18, like, how did that go? Did you build yourself up? Was it an accident? How did it happen?
Yeah, so it was like mid-argument. It was mid-argument with my mum, actually. Yeah, she just kind of like said it, and I think she thought I was going to deny it. And I was, at this point, I was sick of it. So I was like, yeah, I do like girls. And what? It's done now. She's heard it.
Yeah.
It was a bit uncomfortable for like 2 days. Mm-hmm. She was a bit sensitive. Because I think as a parent, I mean, obviously I'm not a parent, but I think it's like, am I ever going to have grandkids? Mm-hmm. Are you going to be accepted? What's the world going to treat you like? Are they gonna? Is it my fault? Are people going to judge me because you're that way?
Mm-hmm. So you feel like in your family setting, maybe it was looked at as a negative thing to be gay, or that's what you thought?
I wouldn't even say like I'm so embraced by my mum has embraced me so much, and my partners. Like, I have to share that positive light on my mum that she's embraced me. I don't know. I just think as a female, you're kind of told that you have to be with men. It's normal. So I just kind of think it was that thing like, but why are you different? And I mean, unless you have had them feelings or you experience it, you won't be able to kind of understand it. Like, I don't really know what it's like to love a man because I don't love men. So I can't comprehend it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
interesting. I thought I was a lesbian at one point. I went into it on the Anders podcast, but yeah, I got caught like kissing girls when I was younger, and my first kiss was with a girl. Same as you. It was like, oh, I like this. Feels nice. But I think as I got older, I definitely knew that I was attracted to guys. And then I was like, but do I like both? And then just never really went any further with it. But I think now I've come into a space where, like I said, Reform Radio, and things are just a lot more open, and people are just more open with the sexuality. So I found it really refreshing. But I think from your point of view, how would you say the movement with everything that's going on in LGBTQ has it impacted your experience in any way?
That's a good question, and I like that you've asked me that. So thank you. Me personally, I'm not really involved in the LGBTQ plus community at all, really. Because for me, my sexuality it's not my personality. It's strictly like the way I feel about the women, I suppose. So I'm not really involved in any of that movement.
Because that's more about identifying within your sexuality, where your sexuality is just...
Yeah, like all my friends I don't really have many gay friends. All my friends are straight. So yeah, I'm in the heterosexual scene, but I'm openly lesbian within that scene, which is fine. And no one's really had a problem with me. Don't get me wrong, I've had a couple of men who have obviously said, do you think you're a man? And it's like, no, but I'll just take your girl.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You know what I mean? Like,
tell them again.
Yeah, man, so.
I could take your girl now.
Yeah.
I love that. So yeah, in terms of sexuality then, you said you came out when you was 18. You think it was received quite well, and your mum was the person that you shared that with, and it didn't take her long to accept that.
At this point, it was so obvious. I looked like a raging lesbian. Like, I had this haircut. Like, the sides have been gone since I was 15. So it was already pretty obvious.
Do you feel like when you say it was obvious because of the way that you was doing your hair, was you trying to communicate that, or did you just feel that that's what you wanted to look like?
I think I was just like naturally just becoming myself and getting rid of the hair, because I used to have long hair, and shaving it off. I think that was just me being me. And obviously I was a proper stud, and I wasn't comfortable being feminine. That's because I'd say that leads back to being from Moss Side, and I was with all of the boys. So like coming from there and just being with the man them, I was one of the lads. I didn't want to be girly looking.
And is that, would you say about being around the lads? I think for me, being around the lads, I've always liked being around the lads, but being a feminine girl around the lads, as time went on and alcohol came into the circle, it obviously presented some problems for me.
Yeah.
And then the dynamics changed with the boys, because they would see me as something more than one of the lads.
Okay, right.
So
makes sense.
Did you experience anything like that?
I think whenever a boy has fancied me, I've been so uncomfortable, and I've been like, but why? I've not given you any reason to. And I'm trying to this is not me trying to look feminine or attractive to the male eye. So I've been privileged.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. But nah, just like
not had anyone like taking advantage. You've not.
Oh no, yeah, I've experienced that. I think that's quite depthful story. I went to Lisbon with a producer. I won't say his name because I don't need to throw the shade. He was a friend of mine, and we were creating a project. We've gone to Lisbon to shoot a video for Good Over Evil. And yeah, he just tried to definitely was trying to sleep with me, but got rejected because I'm not going to fly to another country and change sexuality.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you feel like, you've not really had an experience where someone has managed to take advantage of you.
No.
Just because you've been in that same way around the boys all the time.
Yeah, no.
That's really good to hear, because I think a lot of women of our background, generally coming from the hood and being mixed or black, it does actually heighten your probability of having some kind of sort of interactions, which I've experienced quite a lot of that. So yeah, I think it's just something to touch on, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So I think next we can talk about where you want to go in your terms of sort of spiritual, because you're not religious, are you?
No.
You identify as spiritual.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to put yourself in a box if you're not religious.
Yeah.
A lot of my family, they say, you've got God in you, you are a Christian.
Yeah.
But I just don't see religion as something that navigates me. I feel like my moral compass is going towards what feels right and good, and that's all I can go from. So coming from you, because I know you say you're spiritual, but you seem like a deep person, you're also intellectual. So just share with me a little bit about your journey in that sense.
I think more than being spiritual or religious, I think there's a broad line, and sometimes, life can be black and white. So it's either good or it's a form of, it's evil, it's bad. Are you doing what's bad or are you doing what's good? And sometimes good people make bad decisions, and sometimes bad people can do a good thing. Which one are you though? You know what I mean? It's like a daily, it's a form of consistency.
And it's about the intention behind it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you come from a religious background, or what was the culture like sort of growing up for you?
No, so my family is atheist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've not really grew up with religion around me at all. I do believe in God, definitely. But I think it's just a personal thing. I don't think it's something that, I don't think, I don't try to be parts of too many communities.
You're just navigating what feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same really. I think when you're making profiles on Hinge, it's like,
is it?
Yeah, what is your thing? I wish I could do a whole podcast about Hinge, because it's so funny. I have it, but I don't really use it in the way that you meant to. But when I ask you questions about religion, and it's got all these things, I'm like, oh, I don't really know what I am. The labels thing for me, it doesn't really do anything for me. I speak a lot about the label of being neurodiverse as well. So having the ADHD label, the OCD label, all of these things. I've got borderline personality disorder as well. So having these labels, it's like, oh, what does that mean? For me, it means, okay, there's a set of traits or things
that you identify with.
I can relate to them.
Right.
Doesn't mean I have a disorder. For me, that's a bit where I'm like, I'm not sure. For me, I feel like the world is broken outside.
Most definitely. And
So-
I just want to agree on that. The world is really broken. Yeah.
And anybody who's kind of...
Because we don't love each other. So let's speak about love. And where's the love? Because
Where is the love? Would you class yourself as a sensitive person, deep down?
Definitely. But I'm also very strong and I'm not always willing to be sensitive. Yeah.
Because I think even for me, on that scale of being sensitive, you do have to be strong, because if you're sensitive about something, it means you feel strongly about it.
Yeah.
So you're going to like protect that with a strong comeback. So people think, oh, if you're sensitive, you're going to be weak. But it's not. I've seen that people who are sensitive are also the more fiery ones. Because I'm sensitive, I feel strongly about that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm therefore going to act accordingly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in terms of that side, I guess, before we move on to love and what that looks like, what it means, mental health, neurodiversity, have you been on that scale or looked at it?
I don't identify or class myself as any of those things. Mental health, I don't know what that means to me. Can't say anything about it. Neurodivergent, don't know anything about it.
So you've just gone through and managed without having a sort of crisis point where you've ever had to seek mental health help, or you've been all right?
I mean, you know what? I'm very truthful and I wouldn't tell a lie. I've definitely been through some things, but they've been so personal that's not. See, like right now, I'd say I'm here as True Aubz. When I go home, I'm my own person and I have my own life. I keep that separate.
Yeah, I like that though. And if that's how you sort of manage things, and that's your way of, for me, dealing with it, I have different coping mechanisms. And I think I used to just shop. That's what I used to do.
Retail therapy.
Seriously, it's a thing. But then obviously I had my son, and I can't buy out the shop for me like I'm buying it. Like obviously I'll buy for him, but it didn't have the same effect. And then I was like, but I need that dopamine, and I'm chasing the dopamine and understanding actually, okay.
Then there's addictions and,
all of that. I didn't even realise, but I think obviously because I became a mum, obviously you're pregnant and you realise, okay, there's no getting high, there's no drinking, your body's clean.
Yeah.
You get that clean cut. And then I was breastfeeding, so it gave me that long period of like abstinence from anything, substances and toxic energy even. If I was around the wrong set of people, especially when I was pregnant, my stomach would, like, I felt like someone was squeezing me. I was like, right, I'm not supposed to be here. I'd have to get up and go. And I think...
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was really powerful. And I think now I'm a lot more sensitive to being in the wrong room. And staying there.
Yeah.
I would rather go home. Like the FOMO's gone. FOMO is not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm happily be in bed at, 10, 11 o'clock on the weekend.
I just want to say to anyone who's watching, if you're suffering from FOMO, you probably need to just like chill out.
And sit with yourself.
Yeah, sit with yourself.
Because it's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
man.
you're chasing something.
It's a crazy world.
That actually is inside of you. You're looking outside, but you got to go inside. I think that was a big turning point for me. I used to be the outside girl. I wanted to be everywhere, in everything, but then I got exhausted.
It's fun for a bit. I've been through it myself. I went through going to the club every weekend, getting crazy drunk. Yeah, it gets a bit draining. It gets a bit like, what am I seeking by going to the club every week? The same club. Like, there's not a new room in this club. You know what I mean? And it's the same faces. So it's just a bit...
You just get comfortable though, don't you?
Yeah, you got to grow up a little bit and...
Spent a lot of money in them places.
Do you know what I mean? It cost.
It does.
I like Hennessy. Like a Hennessy's like flipping £11.
I need to just get the miniatures and put it in your bag. Could hide it in your hair.
I mean, I never thought about it, but now you've said it.
You've got the hair for it,
Yeah, now you've said it.
I always put a little something in my hair somewhere.
Is it?
Yeah, not so much now, but I've been there, done that. Parklife.
Might have to start.
My wellies were full.
Yeah.
Did you do Parklife? Have you ever been there?
I went in 2015.
Oh wow.
I didn't have a good time. It was raining. Everyone's jaw was like,
Yeah, swing, yeah.
It was not my thing.
Was that when I was in Plattfields?
No, that was
Was it Heaton Park?
That was Heaton Park.
Yeah, I remember. I think they did it for 1 year in Plattfields just as I started going. But I think I had a really good time.
That's good, at least.
I did. And, oh yeah, I don't know how to say it, but I tried my first drugs at Parklife.
Yeah, you had a good time. You had a good time.
I thought I was gonna die. No, I went home and I rang my mum. I was like, "Mum, I think there's someone in the bushes." I was taking something. I made my mum come to me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I learned that I didn't like drugs.
Yeah,
but
it's not for everyone.
I enjoyed Parklife.
That's good.
And yeah, I'd like to perform there one day. Not sure doing what. Parklife podcast maybe?
Could do.
Who knows?
I think you could do anyway.
You could do a podcast anywhere, couldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Just chatting to people. Just run around the street with a mic. Yeah. Right. So we've got about 15-ish minutes. I like to keep them around an hour.
Okay.
So you've spoken on love and you wanted to delve into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a wide subject.
Yeah.
So if you want to navigate towards
love,
what you'd want to say on love.
Definitely just say about love. I mean, this is not me being religious, but and also I don't like everyone. I'm big on not liking everyone, by the way. I do not like everyone. Some people are not my vibe. But yeah, just love people. And if you don't like someone, just stay away from them. It's pretty simple stuff.
What if you have to work with people? How do you find working with people that you don't like?
Yeah, it's annoying, and I've had to kind of learn that. That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's kind of
but you'd make it work.
Yeah.
And in terms of the music industry then, I guess being a lover in the music industry.
Yeah. Speaking of love and so for example, I love Arctic Monkeys, right? I do not look like the typical fan of Arctic Monkeys. So this is what I mean when I say you can just love things. It doesn't have to suit your box. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I feel like
for the roadie,
everyone will look at you and be able to say, oh yeah, you're into this or you're into that.
Yeah.
I have it all the time. People have this expectation of you, don't they?
Definitely.
They read you wrong. I think if I go on holiday with my son and I'll be talking about what I do or the fact that I own a property, I bought a house and people are
go on, girl.
Oh, you own a property? How old are you?
Property.
How old are you? And I'm thinking, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You think I don't? Yeah. Obviously, I'm not fitting that profile. I'm not offended by it. It's just I can see people would be surprised about it. But like you say, when people ask me what music I'm into, I'm like, you know what? I'm very versatile.
A broad range.
Depends on my mood, literally. I think that rounds it off then, really, for love, doesn't it? For me, I'm in my self-love stage. For me, when it comes to love, the most important relationship is the one with yourself. Because I've noticed if I'm in, say I'm going for a breakup or I've had an argument with my mum and the mother wound is strong. So when I have a fallout with my mum, I fall out with myself and I'll literally just start living a bit mad.
Yeah.
I feel chaotic, but I'm trying to just be you know what? You have to maintain that level of love for yourself, regardless of what's going on around you, which can be hard because I have a tendency to self-sabotage if someone's pissed me off. Because I'm how can you treat me unfairly? How can you,
I get it.
Make me feel that way? But learning not to give my energy away to love and not be a slave to it has really helped me.
I probably needed to hear that today.
Yeah.
Do not be a slave to love.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's honestly...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because it's been valuable for me. I was definitely a slave to love and I'd keep loving, keep giving. I had nothing left and then...
Do you ever feel like you just need to heal someone? You've had an understanding that this person is they're damaged.
You can say toxic if you want
to. They're toxic. The F word. Do you know what I mean? But how do I just like make them chill out? Like how are they gonna just like relax? Like stop doing that to yourself.
Because a lot of the times the people that you're trying to work all that stuff out for, they don't want to change.
No, yeah.
Actually, they're quite happy.
I'm learning to leave people alone.
Yeah.
That's you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is sad.
Generally, they will come back and say, you know what, you were right, or, you know.
One thing about me, don't ever think you can come back.
No.
You can never come back.
No?
No.
Once the door is closed.
Oh, that's where.
Closed.
So for me, that's where I get stern. I don't even know if you see my face then. Don't think you can come back. You can't come back.
No.
If the door done, and the door don't open.
Close it.
Yeah.
No entry, no re-entry. Yeah. I love that. Now it's valid. I think for me, I've been in some situations where I might be getting to know someone and if I like you, I like you. And I'm a lover, like, I'm not one of them to be half-assing things, but I think sometimes that can be a bit full on. I've been in situations where like things haven't gone in a way where I thought, oh yeah, things could go further with that person.
Yeah.
They might not have done, but then later on down the line, that person will come back and be like, I didn't realise how dope you are, kind of thing. And I'm like, good for you.
They need more of you, like.
Do you know what I mean? It's
you
like,
can't have no more.
No.
Yeah.
Your ego can stay where it is. I'm not going to do anything for that. You had your chance, and thanks for coming and giving me what I didn't need to hear.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a, oh, right. So you notice now, like, I wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
Because you've come back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is nice, like, in a sense of, well, God, it gave me some closure.
That really irritates me.
Yeah, it does, in a way.
Don't come back.
I was just like, yeah, thanks for that piece of information. And I was like, oh, but it could work, you know what I mean? But I was thinking, I'm not just gonna.
And then you go back and it's hunky dory for 2 weeks, and then you're in the same stuff you was in last time.
Yeah, no. So I didn't go back. I was just like, no, it's good. I'm good. You should have seen my value from day one, boy. But yeah, I'm staying single, I think, for me, and focusing on myself and building that relationship with myself. And I feel like you're probably on the same journey and channeling everything. So I think last sort of point, what do you do to keep yourself sort of sane? This world is crazy. I know you make music, but do you have any other little hacks?
To keep myself sane?
Yeah, just keep yourself...
Just chill. Like, I don't know, like, what...
Do you work out? Do you have hobbies? Do you read?
Yeah, I go to the gym.
Okay.
I read. I don't know. I don't think I do too much.
Just laid back.
Yeah,
chill out.
I don't overdo it. I think to stay sane, you just need to stay away from what is insane to you.
And do you share space with anyone? Like, do you live with people?
Yeah, I live with my family, so
okay.
I think, staying around that family is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that I was kicked out at 17. That threw me into having to get on my feet quick.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, I think that's why I never got to embrace my creative, because I was too busy getting into survival mode and making sure I could pay the bills. My outgoings was at least a bag a month.
Yeah.
Rent, bills, everything, just to live.
Yeah.
So I had to graft.
Yeah, you do.
And in order to graft, I had to make good money, and I couldn't really spend my time doing creative stuff. So I think another thing that's important is, not kicking your kids out when they're of a certain age. I think that's something that's very common in Caribbean families, more than most.
Yeah.
Because they think as soon as you're going to get out the house, go do your thing. But really, I see the people who have been able to stay at home, or who always have a place at home.
Yeah, they thrive a bit more.
They do thrive, especially when it comes to being able to follow something creative and a form of expression. Because that's almost a luxury, I think, especially when you come from the hood.
Definitely, yeah.
So I think the parents and the families that are doing the sort of lifestyle where you hold space for the youths to come home are going to get good results. So, yeah, I love that. And I think that's why I bought the house for my son.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to have that security that nobody's going to kick us out. No one's ever going to be able to, move us on. And hopefully I'll keep hold of that house until he's old enough, and then he can here you go. I've not got like a lot of money to give you, but here's your house that I've kept for you since you was younger. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about that generational, them cycles. Yeah, trying to break them. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And it's difficult.
It really is.
And there's people that are against it.
I know,
for whatever reason, but
when you're a person who's breaking through all that, I'm sure you probably know you'll come up against like challenges and obstacles, and you're met with resistance a lot of the time. But I find sometimes that's just because people don't want to get left behind. Like, oh, you think you can go there, but I want you here because that makes me feel safe, more comfortable. But that's a realisation I've had, and I'm just like, well, no, feel free to come with me. But I'm not about to stay. I'm not about to stay in the same place. No. Reinvent the wheel, me. I'm always changing shit up, and I like it. I like it like that.
Changing stuff up, and then change. Change is crazy.
Yeah, change is always there for me. Literally 1 minute I'll be doing corporate, selling Seemone, and next thing I'm in the studio and doing editing. Yeah. That's my main business. I should start bringing it, giving people like, thank you for coming on the show. Yeah. I was like, Seemone on the podcast, like go together.
It sounds good.
Yeah, no, it's called Mama Moss. If anybody wants to go on the page.
I will definitely. I'll give you a message.
Yeah. Well, I think I've kind of covered and asked you all kinds of questions. I hope you've felt comfortable with everything we talked about.
I have, I want you to speak.
Good. And if there's anything like final bits that you want to drop in, or your socials.
Right, so you can get me on socials at True Aubz Gram. That's True, True, and Aubz is AUBZ.
Yeah.
Gram.
That's on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm available on all music platforms as well, so check me out.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to tune in. I've not really done the whole listen to do you have albums, EPs? How do you drop music?
No, so I just release singles.
Okay, cool. And if you type in True Aubz on the likes of Spotify,
Apple Music, Spotify, TikTok.
Oh, TikTok.
Everywhere.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
I don't do TikTok yet. I need to get into it.
All right, it's hard to navigate it.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know everyone.
It's gone.
People
mad.
get famous off it. Like,
I know.
It's crazy.
Doing little rap challenges and that. I might have to check it out. But yeah, me being a little bit old for TikTok, we're going to get there one day. But yeah, for now, it's been Neenagh and True Aubz on No Sis. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Peace. Peace.